Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Rita Marie, and this is my stitching adventure. And this is a channel about cross stitching. So, the type of stitching I'm talking about is cross stitching. I do know other types of stitching, but this is the one I'm sticking to. So, if you are a returning viewer, then thank you so much for coming back. It's always a joy to see you, talk to you. Yeah, just so lovely to have you here. And to all of you that are new, I hope you enjoy and stay and want to just have a good time with me. Usually my videos can be a little bit lengthy. I actually think this one will not be that lengthy, but who knows? Suddenly I'm falling down a rabbit hole and we pass the 1 hour mark. So I'm just saying, I'm impressed by people that can do a Flosstube in under 10 minutes because I can't. This is my little jug of water because we are having an incredible weather here in Norway. I love it and I hate it at the same time. I love it because we usually don't get a really nice summer, and this year with banning of traveling, or you can travel but you will be put in a 10 days quarantine to get home. It's not really an option to travel at all. So having this really nice weather, it's good. It's the right year for this weather. Only reason I complain is because I have had almost 2 really hard weeks when it comes to my chronic illness. And one of the downsides with my chronic illness is that when my body doesn't regulate temperature very well. So when it gets hot, my body can't cool me down. I have the same issue in the winter time, so I don't like the winter because that's actually worse. Because in the winter time, I will get cold and my hands and feet will start to get blue and purple, and there is almost nothing I can do to keep warm. Like, my body just won't produce heat. So I will sit in front of the fireplace and still freeze. Like this year, I sat in front of the fireplace with a wool blanket and like another really thick blanket. A Dina, if you're one of the countries using that. And it's just, I couldn't keep warm. Like, even my husband tried to put me on his lap and get that natural heat from body to body, and he said it was like an ice stick. It was like putting an ice stick on his lap. Like, it was horrible. So, like, the winter is really bad. So the summer, it's doable because I had things like my water I use ice cubes in that have melted, and you can see by the size I need a big mug of water. And that usually can cool me down. Like, I will go and eat ice cubes like all day long. The freezer is empty so fast, so I'm glad it takes just a night to get ice cubes back again in the freezer. So yeah, it's lovely, but it's hard. And since my illness is so bad as it is, then regulating heat is even worse because that's how my chronic illness works. So, but just have to try and deal with it. We bought a swimming pool, one of those you can pump up with air, for my son, and we bought it big enough that I can sit in that pool, and the water goes to like just above my stomach. So I have a couple of times been sitting in his pool to cool down. Um, so yeah, um, the short version of how things been going, it's not that good. Um, I had to have my son home for 1.5 weeks all alone in the daytime while my husband was working. So that was really tough and straining. On top of that, last time you saw me, that evening, the last time you saw me, I started hurting in my left hand. I didn't think too much of it, so I put down my whatever I was doing and just watched TV for the rest of the night. Went to bed and my hand was just hurting more and more and more. Like it got more and more intense. Like even when I watched TV. So the next day I woke up, got to the doctor's office. I had a suspicion what it was because I can really easily get tendonitis, and that's exactly what it was. So I got tendonitis in my, did I say left? My right hand. My right hand. So it was just horrible. I couldn't sit and stitch too much at a time because I started to hurt. So my stitch count is really low for this month, and I think it's going to be an ultimate low that for as long as I have been done Flosstube, this is the lowest amount I think I have. It might change tiny bit. I can get it up because I have 2 days. My husband took my son camping. They're going to sleep over in a tent. So I have had all day today, and I will have most of the day tomorrow to just sit and stitch and relax. And my husband told me that I shouldn't think too much about doing house chores because I have been tired enough. So I figured I would do film. It's pretty late in the day. It's 8 p.m. But as you can see, we have still sunny weather. So welcome to Norway. The sun isn't going down until I think we have the sun here to just between 11 and 12 or 11 p.m. and midnight. So it's, even though the sun goes down, the light, it's pretty light outside, and now at the peak of the sun being up, the sun isn't up all day, but it's light outside all day. So it's really nice. So let's get going to what I have been doing. Since I left you, I have 2 new starts, and I think beside that I only have 3 projects I have worked on, so 5 projects in total. So let's get over to whips. So I jumped on a sale together with some really great friends in Virtual Stitchers. I woke up at 4 a.m. to be able to stitch together with them and start this project because I really love how it looks. I do love the colors, and it's just, even stitching on it, I have had so much fun. So this is Magic Study by Heaven and Earth Designs. I will try and remember to insert pictures as I usually do. And this is where I got to. This is one day of work. I just worked on it that one day together with the virtual stitchers crew, call them something. And yeah, I got a good chunk done, as you can see. I believe I got like 800 and something stitches in, and I haven't packed this away yet. It's still on this small 8x8 Q-snap because I hope to get back to this to stitch, because I loved it so much to stitch on it. I don't know, it's just something about the dark blue colors that I really love, and like purple isn't too bad to stitch with, so it was a fun stitch so far. So what you saw is approximately the width of the first page. So the second project I started is Castle in the Air by Long Dog Sampler. I kitted this up a long time ago, and I figured it was time to pull it out and start it, because I was so lucky that a dear friend of mine bought me the Anzac by Long Dog Sampler, and I really want to do that one, so most likely both of them is going to be started this year. But I felt I had to start this one that had been kitted for almost 2 years, I think. So I have this blue floss that is by Barbaral Creations, and the same is the fabric. It's on a 32 count, and it's called Sunset. And this is where I got to. So the light blue is currently on the outer border, and I'm doing the white inside. And so far, I'm actually loving the white one better than the blue. So I'm not sure if I will just have the outer border in this blue color that I bought, that is a hand dye, and do rest in the white color, or if I mix it up and I have a few other like pale-ish colors to do here and there, just to give a little bit of color in it. But mostly it's gonna be monochromatic. So that's where I got on that one. So it's a little bit hard to work on because of the fact that the way it's dyed, sometimes the holes are covered by fibers laying on top, so it's hard to see where the hole you're supposed to go down in is. So, but as I'm getting more stitches around like the base of my stitching, since I stitch top down, like when I get a frame and I can stitch in the middle, that's usually easier, because then I have so many reference points I can use to find out where I am supposed to stitch. So that was my 2 new starts. Hang on a second. I'm back. Totally forgot to bring this one project with me. I had taken out of the thingy I have all my projects in, but apparently I didn't bring it from my stitching chair to my dining table. So this is Enchanted series by Body Threads, and this is Luna. She's called Luna from the Enchanted series. The fabric is pre-printed from the kit, and there's like 3 different colors of the floss. And this is where I am now. And I got over the halfway point, which were my whip go goal for this one. So my whip go goal is accomplished with this one. And this is the one I stitched on when I had tendinitis, because it's on 14 count, so it's really easy to stitch on. It's also not too many colors, because I could stitch without issues, but having to thread my needle or rethread my needle, or doing the pin stitch, or just, I even tried the loop method, and just something about the whole anchoring the floss just started to hurt my hand. So this one, where I could just anchor the floss and stitch a bunch, was perfect. So that's where she is, and she's amazing. I love her. It's almost sad that I didn't have a higher goal for her. So, but no worries. Most likely she is going to be finished next year. Like, I don't think it will take longer than that to get it finished. Second project I worked on is one of my 3 focus pieces, and it's the model stitching I'm doing for Lisa. She is one of the people from Shady Tree Stitches here on Flosstube. She also has a Flosstube page and Etsy page called Padlock Lane Designs. And she is doing Australian inspired cross stitching, because she saw that there was lacking some Australian cross stitching, so she took it upon herself to do that. So I am model stitching for her, and this is a year down under, and it's an Australian calendar. And this is where I got to. So I have just found the bottom edge of the border on this side. I don't know if February was finished the last time, but that is finished, and I finished April. April was a really quick stitch. So yeah, it's starting to get along, and I just need to keep going on this, because now all the patterns are out, so I want to get them stitched as fast as I can. So, but also I have other goals I'm trying to meet, so I'm trying to balance stitching on this and stitching on especially my epic Pokemon, and then I sometimes in between have like a break, like I did with Magic Study, Luna, and Long Dog Sampler. And this is a Floss Buddy from Bags Plus. You can find her on Etsy. I really love those. I haven't said too much about the other fabrics, because they're pretty plain fabrics. Like the Magic Study is on a 32 count easy guide from Swigert. I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross, and a year down under it's on a 14 count white Ada, just plain, and I'm stitching that 2/1 full cross. And lastly, it's the biggie. It's one of the focus pieces. It's one of the reasons I can't stitch too much on a year down under, because I'm trying to finish this one this year. And it's my Epic Pokemon Generation 1. I think last time I showed you this, I had recently had a finish. A page finish, I mean. And this time I also have a page finish. So this is where I'm at. I'm not going to take it out of the frame, because it's perfectly fitted in there, and if I remove it, it will be just too much to move it around. And if you can see slightly, there is a gold thread here, here, and here. And that's because since I moved this over to Pattern Keeper, thank you to the person that made this pattern available for Pattern Keeper in the Pokemon Cross Stitcher group. I have no clue if you're watching, but I'm grateful. But the thing is, in Pattern Keeper, the pages are a little bit different than the printed ones I was working with. And my Whip Go challenge is based on which pages I finish. And that's from the printed version I had. So that meant that now that I'm stitching, it's hard to see where the page finishes is for the Whip Go. So I use this gold. It's Sliver by Guterman. It's the one you can't pierce, to mark off the pages. So this page, number 24, is now finished. It goes higher up, but this is what you can see of that page. I am soon done with page 23, so that will most likely be a finish next time you see me, because I'm only missing what's inside right here. And then I'm going to go down and work on page 29 and 28. And the way I park top down, I simultaneously work these two pages at once. And as you see, I try to make a not too big of an feathering into the next pages, but trying to follow the colors that are just at the edge there. So it's not too much cross-country stitching, because if you have known me for a while, I don't like that. So I'm just missing this little part right here to fill in, and when I get down to this section, it's going to be a tiny bit of an issue. A tiny bit up here. And then all the big cross-country stitching I did before I found Flosstube and found my way of stitching is going to be fixed. So that's going to be a relief. So, and it's also nice having these golden lines to see where the pages are. So that's nice. So this page didn't give me a Whip Go goal finish, because I need to finish this page to get one of the goals finished, but I'm on good way to accomplishing that. So when I finish these 3 pages, I have 6 pages left. So currently this is page number, I said 24, but it's in reality page 21 that I have finished, like number 21 of 30. That means I'm down in the single digit of pages now, because I only have 9 pages left. So, yeah. So this is what I have been focusing on now that I have had a day to myself stitching, which is really nice. When my Flosstube video is uploading, I cannot use my phone for anything else. Because it just interrupts the uploading and the uploading time. So I have found that I need to put my phone just in the uploading screen and let it sit there until it's up in the sky. And I don't mean the sky as the real one, but the one that is virtual, the storage place. So yeah. That means I don't know if I will get to this anymore today. I hope, but I don't know. So if I can't get to that one today, I am going to stitch on Cinderella by Mirabilia because I need that for a challenge. Give myself a little break from Epic Pokemon. And when I have reached, I think it's 200 stitches I need, I'm gonna jump over and do a Year Down Under and stitch on that. Because right now, my two main pieces is Epic Pokemon and a Year Down Under. And you're saying, but what happened to number 3? Yeah, tendonitis. I have not pulled out my baby blanket because of the tendonitis, because it usually tends to be a really big strain on my hand. And since it's so recently, it has gotten good again. I don't want to irritate anything with pulling that one out just yet. So there is a big chance that one won't be pulled out until July or maybe next week. Like we're in the middle of this week because it's Thursday, June 25th. Totally forgot to say that to you. I think. So yeah, that one, I just have to wait a little bit with that one. And then if my camera can upload and I have a decent amount of time left before I have to go to bed, my thinking is filming my A to Z Stitch with me's. But that depends on uploading time and all that lovely stuff behind the scenes of a Flosstube video. So that was my plans, my whips. I don't have any haul. That's a lie. I do have haul. I just didn't bring it with me, so I will try and remember that next time. And so two last things to say. So far in June, I have done 14,202 stitches. That is not included of today, because today I have done almost 800 stitches, which means it's closer to 1,500 stitches that I have done so far. And if I can do 4,000 more stitches in June, I will have reached a new goal when it comes to the halfway mark of the year, when it comes to stitching, how many stitches. And that is, if I can get 4,000 stitches in 5 more days, it will be tough because now my husband and son is home. I will have reached 150,000 stitches in half a year, which is mind-blowing to myself. There might be a really slowing down of stitching coming for my sake. Like, it's still a huge amount. I know it's a huge amount, like 14,000 stitches so far, almost 15,000. That's a lot of stitches for a lot of people. It's just low for me. But it's still decent amount. Like, it's nothing to look down on or think it's bad in any way. But my stitching might slow down even more because we are in the process of moving my son from having a room downstairs to upstairs, which means the plan all along has been, when he moves his room upstairs, I am going to get a hobby room downstairs. That is going to be my room. I'm gonna have my computer there. I'm gonna have all my stitching set up there. Last year, my husband didn't quite know how and to order a stand that I wanted for my birthday and Christmas present. So that just didn't arrive. Also, the money has been tight, but we did some finagling, did some finagling, so we could get a tiny bit more money now in the summer, and summer vacation money is coming in. That's usually good. So I have finally ordered the necessaire stand, and that is going to be a nice inventory to my new hobby room. So that is something I'm really looking forward to. When all that is in place, it will be so much easier for me to film regularly, because with having the room downstairs, I'm not bothered by the middle floor. The second floor is where everything in this house happened. This is the living room, it's the kitchen, it's the bathroom, like all the places people tend to stay is here. And but downstairs it will, like, there can be some sounds when my husband and son is home, but it will be so low that I don't think it will be an issue with filming. So when that gets set up for real, I think I can get started all the series I have wanted to do, are doing, and have had to put a break on. So that will be nice. So hopefully by the end of the summer, somewhere at the end of August, all of that will be in place. Fingers crossed. I will leave you, and I hope you have a great day. And have fun stitching, and remember to be kind. Goodbye.